Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar about marketing trips through website pages. My name is Mickey Taylor, and I am the owner of Taylor & Company Travel. And you may have also seen some articles written by me in Vacation Agent and Agent at Home magazines. If you don't currently get those subscriptions, they are free and are actually printed magazines that come to you each month in the mail. So I strongly suggest that you sign up for those free publications. Today's webinar is going to be about how to market trips that either might be group trips that you're working on. It could be a special group block that you were able to get a great rate for through one of the cruise companies, how to market that through your website. Okay, so obviously, if you've been on any of my other webinars, you know that I always try to mix or utilize a lot of different aspects of our Agent Studio platform into each webinar, and today will be no different. Okay, first of all, I want to ask that if you have any questions throughout the webinar, if you will just go ahead and type your question in the chat box. That way I will work them in. I run my webinars a little bit different than most people. Most like to save the questions for the end of the webinar, but I like to try to answer them as we go through, because a lot of your questions are going to be topic sensitive. So I would like to discuss and answer those while we are on that topic. Okay, so the first place we want to go to is our Agent Studio control panel. So I'm just going to go and bring mine up. Pop out of these, pop out of this. Okay, to get to your control panel, I know that we had some new agents sign up for this webinar, so it might be the first time you're ever going to your control panel. So you want to just go to your website, scroll to the bottom, and then click on Control Panel, and it will ask you to log in. Now, I was already logged into my site, so it didn't ask me to log in again, but you will be asked to log in. And for today's webinar, we're going to go to Pages. Now, one thing that we are discussing today, or that I am using, will be a Travefy Itinerary. So if you are on a plan that doesn't include the Travefy Itinerary, it might be a great idea to upgrade and to try it out, or even to do an add-on of Travefy so that you can play around with it and experience all the great features that Travefy brings to your business. Okay, we're going to go to create a new page. Now, we're going to start out with an existing itinerary. And I'm going to, of course, use the same Cancun itinerary. I just reached out to Travefy because I kind of end up having two accounts. One is through Agent Studio, and I have, my platform through Travefy is customized to match my brand. So I kind of end up with two platforms, and the itinerary I wanted to demonstrate with today, actually, I can't, it won't give me access to it through Agent Studio. So I've reached out to them, and I'll utilize that on the next webinar. But I'm going to be using, I'm going to be going to Itinerary Builder, and these are the trips that I have access to. I'm going to bring up Cancun. And we're going to use the Taylor Cancun group. Now I'm going to open this up and just walk you through what Travefy does and what all is included in this itinerary. And then we're going to create our website page. look at marketing this out as a website page, and also use our marketing center as well as the automated social media platform. So with Agent Studio, in case you have never experienced it, you're missing out because it's fabulous. Travefy allows you to create a digital itinerary for your clients. And with this itinerary, what you're seeing is an itinerary created for a group. Okay, and as you'll notice, as I scroll down through the itinerary, there will be different names associated with different aspects of this itinerary, particularly the flights. So this is how you designate, if you're, even for a destination wedding, this is how I do all my weddings. And the bulk of the itinerary, as far as the hotel and activities at the resort for the wedding party and the wedding guests, would all be the same for everyone. So those will not be designated with any particular name, but if you have attendees flying from multiple airports, this is how you designate. So you can have every flight, maybe there's 10 flights for a certain wedding, and you can designate each flight by choosing that attendee's name. And when that person opens up the itinerary, they'll only see their flights. They won't see all of the other 9 flights that are involved in this itinerary. So, hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. I have a client that's having an issue right now. So I just needed to send her back a quick text. So now, as we scroll down through, we are on the first day. So the first few events will be flights, and then we have the transfers. And you can see that it gives you a departure time, how long the transfer is going to be, and then it moves into information about the hotel. Okay, and at the bottom of this, I also have uploaded a spa menu, a resort brochure, and I played around with this a couple times so on different webinars. So I actually have 2 of these in here, so I need to remove one of them. Scrolling down to the bottom. I just want to make sure I'm deleting the right one. Okay. One of these is the spa menu, and one is the actual brochure for the resort. So I'm going to scroll up. You'll see I include a lot of information in my itineraries because I do not want my clients to have to go anywhere else to have to find out any information about the resort. Okay, then we go down to the 17th, and we see that we have a tour. Now, I have linked to my website, a white labeled site through Project Expedition, and that is what I use to include links to the different tour activities. Okay, and as you notice, this links right back to my website. So I don't have to be afraid of, the client being taken out to a different website and being able to book this excursion there and me not getting credit. So that's the tour. And then at the bottom, it will give some additional checkout times. Now, because different people are on different flights, you'll see that when we're looking at this, it's only showing, it's showing us everybody. Okay, just a quick walkthrough of Travefy. Obviously, I don't have time to go through exactly how to make the itineraries, but I definitely do suggest that you try out Travefy and give them a shot because it is a great platform. I personally wouldn't do travel without it. Okay, so that's the itinerary. And what we're going to do, now we're going to move to our website page. So we're going to create a website page for this itinerary for us to market, add additional information about the trip, and put some links, some forms to the actual website page as well. So the first thing we do is we want to give the page a name. So we're just going to call this Cancun Experience, and your page URL would be the same. Now, parent page. If you want this page to be its own parent page at the top, you would not select a page, okay? But if you want to put this page under, let's say I have Discover up there, so let's put this under Discover. This would be, all of these parent pages are based off of your website. And then when you get to page type, this is where you will select itinerary. This is the part of the Travefy and Agent Studio integration that makes this such a powerful partnership. Because now that I selected itinerary, I'm going to come over here and here's the Taylor Cancun group that I was speaking of. And we're going to give it the same name, and we're going to save the page. Now, first I'm going to copy this just so I can easily show you how the page has been made. Now, if I come over here and remove this, we're going to put that link. Now, here's the itinerary. Okay, it's great. We have the itinerary laid out in a web page, but it doesn't stop there. So we have to, add some additional information to this page and some links. You can even insert a video. So let's go back now and pretty it up a bit. So let's go back to our section. So I put that under Discover, so it's up here at the top. Now, you'll see that this is a visible link. And what that means is if I go up to the top, bump that out just a bit. If I go up to the top of my website and I put my cursor over the Discover tab, it's going to show up. Now, one thing, a side tip, if you're doing this itinerary, if this was for an actual wedding, I would create this page, but I would make it a private page, which means I would hide this from my regular website, so you won't be able to see it. But everybody who I have supplied this link, this website link to, will be able to still access the trip content and the web page. So those are two ways that you can differentiate for the different types of groups that you're doing. So now that we have the page made, we're down in the body, and I know it looks like there's nothing in here, but we look at the source code again. Where'd everything go? It is made that way because we made this from an itinerary. Okay, so we want to put some information at the top. All we do is we can center this and we can give it a bigger name. Experience. Let's highlight this. We'll bold it, change the size. And if you hear some background noise, I apologize, but it's almost 70 degrees in Auburn today. I'm excited to not have to wear a coat and all of that crazy stuff. So I do have the windows open today. So I do apologize for that. But if you're in a cold area, I'm sure you can relate to wanting to experience some warmth for a change. I'm going to pick a color. Looks pretty good. So Cancun experience. Now, we're going to change this back. We're going to write just, I'm going to grab just some gibberish actually. About Cancun. And I thought I had another page open of my website. And where I'm going to grab that gibberish, as I call it, from, it's going to be from our actual website. And it's going to be under the Discover tab. And this is where my destination searches are. So I'm going to bring up Cancun, go here, and I'm going to scroll down and just look. This is probably a little bit more than you want to add, but I'm just going to grab some of this just for the sake of today's webinar. Paste it in here and you can see. Okay, now we're back to the right font size. Might want to make this a little bigger. Okay, so Cancun experience gives you a little bit of information about Cancun. Now remember, below this will be the itinerary. Now in the middle of your page, you might also want to put a link for a trip inquiry. Or you might want to say, let's book. I'm going to make it bold. I'm going to change the size a little bit. Now what I want to do is I want to link this, the words let's book, to the actual trip inquiry form from my website. So I'm going to go back to my website and find my form. My forms are at the bottom. So I'm going to scroll down and open up my trip inquiry. And you'll see that form opens up. And I'm going to grab the URL at the top, come back to the page, highlight this, and I'm going to go up to the chain link with the green plus. And all I have to do is paste that link right into where it says URL and say OK. Now, I want to show you a little bit of an update on what the web page looks like. So, going to save the page. And now, see the difference? I've hidden that page. So, I want to come back down. I'm going to make it visible for now, for the sake of our webinar. Refresh. And there's our page. Okay, so right now this is what the page looks like. So you can see we probably want to put a little bit more space after Cancun experience, but it gives you some information and links out to Let's Book. So if this was an active page on your website, visitors can come and see that you have a trip planned. It would give them all of the information. You can see here underneath the name of the trip, it gives the cost per person, it gives the dates, and then it runs through all of the information about the trip. Okay, so does anybody have any questions so far about how to take one of your Travefy itineraries and turn it into a web page that you can market on your website? Now, obviously, we would, take the time to probably increase, make this a little larger and make it look better. But for the sake of the webinar, we'll stick with this, because now I want to go in and show you how to market and how easy it is to utilize this out over social media and through the marketing center. See, is anybody, no questions up there? Okay. Nobody has any questions right now. I'm going to, first thing I'm going to do is copy this URL. And I'm going to go into our automated social media. That's in the control panel. Now, if I wanted to share this out over social media and market it out to my followers, I'm going to come in, whoops, there we go, click compose. Okay, and the first thing I'm going to do so I don't lose the link is I'm going to paste the link at the bottom. Now, the link that I copied, you'll notice if you've utilized the automated social media feature to market or share some of the news stories and things, there is usually an image at the bottom with a little bit of a description about what the link is. So this is only giving us my logo and just a blurb about Taylor and Company Travel. Nobody cares about that. So in order to fix that, I'm going to go back to my website, going to grab, come on, there we go. I'm going to grab the image that was at the top of the Cancun page. Okay. Now, sometimes, as you'll know, you can right-click and save an image. Other times, it won't let you. So if I want an image that I can't right-click and save it as something else, I'm going to do a screen grab and then come back into here. I'm going to replace the link with an image, and I'm going to upload the file. Okay, now once I just need to go to my desktop to grab that screenshot. It pops up right here. Okay, now you'll see that we have the image at the bottom as opposed to just my logo and a blurb about Taylor and Company Travel, which isn't going to make anyone want to learn more about a trip to Cancun. Now, up at the top, we can choose the social media platforms that we would like to share this out to. I'm going to, I wanted to share it. I'll just put it on my Facebook page, and then I'll go and delete it since I don't really want this out there. But I want to show you how it will show up. So with the post, now we have the link. So up here, I want to put something. Okay, something like that. Now, let's go ahead and send this. And I'm going to pop out to, I'll give it a few minutes. I did feel a rumble. Oh, sorry. Now, let's go to Facebook and I will show you what the post looks like. I also have my daughter's dog in my room. There's some construction going on in our unit today. So if you hear some odd noises, it is my daughter's dog, which is also like a mini horse. I guess that's one of the perks of working from home. You can be a built-in babysitter for the pets. Okay, so let's scroll down and see. There we go. So there's the image. And there's the post. Okay, so now if we click this link, it's going to take them directly to our website, to the page that we just created that provides all of the information about the trip. Okay, any questions about that so far? Now, if this was an actual page, I'm actually going to jump back to my Facebook and delete this post. Anybody have any questions about that so far? If I was actually setting this up as a real page, I would send this out over all of my social media channels. So every platform that you've set up as a posting platform within the automated social media, you can select that here and post it out to all of your social media channels. Okay, someone has a question. I saw it said somebody raised a hand. Can you do me a favor and type your question in the chat section? I'm not sure. I'm sorry, I didn't grab the name as I saw the notification go over. If you have a question, please go ahead and just type it here. Okay, so now we've created a page on our website. We've marketed that out over all of our social media channels. When the link is clicked, it will lead all of your visitors back to your Agent Studio website. Now, let's go one step further. Let's take this link and Sharon, I came on late. Will this webinar be recorded? Yes, it will be. And I'll show you where you'll be able to access it tomorrow at the end of the webinar. And you'll also you'll receive the link via email as well. So let's go back. I'm going to grab this URL and now jump into my control panel again so I can get to the Marketing Center. Now, if you're new to the Marketing Center, you will be asked to log in. It is the same credentials that you utilize to log into your control panel. It just requires you to log in again. So we can either go to Create New, and come on, it's being very slow. Okay, so in the Marketing Center, as you may or may not know, you have two options. Now, for marketing a page, the page that we just did, the ready to go themes would not work because these are specifically set up by the suppliers, okay? But you can utilize the customizable themes, and I have two themes already set up for my agency that I will use. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to preview this and update it. So this is right here, I've taken one of the themes that's already set up and I've customized it to match my agency. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that. Now I'm going to edit this. So I don't need to change any of the colors or anything because I have the layout exactly how I want it. And if you want to learn a little bit more about how to do that, make sure you sign up and take part in one of my Marketing Center Basics webinars. We go over how to set up and customize everything within your Marketing Center. So I want to give this email a name or a subject. So let's just do Join Us in Cancun. So as I scroll down through here, I'll leave that the same, but I'm going to edit the description in here. But I'm also going to come down, and this was a message or a flyer that I received from Sea Dreams prior to Christmas. We were trying to fill up a few more slots. So I took their flyer and converted it into an image, but I don't need that for this email campaign, so I'm going to delete it. But what I do want to add in here is I want to add some content about Cancun. So this is where the integration of the Marketing Center trumps every other third-party email tool that's out on the market, because they don't have this integrated capability with MailChimp, Constant Contact, any of those email companies. Not that they aren't great, because they all do a great job. However, they don't have this integration, which means they can't just click new content, click destinations, search Cancun, and get the content that's going to link right back to your website. So I want to add the basics of Cancun, because this is in the hotel district, the hotel that I have on that trip. So I'm going to choose Cancun. Now, I also would like to have an image to replace the other image that I had in here. So if I want to do something other than a deal, a destination, or a news article, can click on custom. And this looks very similar to the screen that we had when we were creating the web page. Okay, almost identical. Now, if we want to just add an image to this, all we have to do is click image, and I can upload, and I'm going to go and choose the same file that I just had, which is this one on my desktop. Now, you always have to send it to the server or else it won't show up. I want to change the height and width separately. I want to undo the lock. I'm going to, let's do 350 by, I want to make it so it just fits. I'm going to try 575 and 350. So I'm going to say okay, and it has just a slight scroll left to right, so that's pretty good. I'm going to leave that go, but I want to move this image up. So I'm going to just save it. Now I need to take this, and to sort it, I just want to move it up. I think I want to move it up under the little slogan. Okay, I'm going to have the image of Cancun, very inviting. You can tell that I love water because that color of Cancun water blends in almost perfectly with the colors of my website. Okay, now that we have that done, in the body of the email itself is where we have our little blurb or our little message. So since I already have something in there, I can just edit this. Brings up the same screen. Now, when you see these fields with the % before and after it, that is a merge field. And those fields are all listed up at the top. And these all pull from the contact details when you set up each contact. And I normally only ever use a first name. I've never used a first name and a last name in any email that I've sent out. So that's all I want to put in there. And instead of a period after that, I want it to say, hi, John, and put a comma after his name. So all you do is insert the comma, and it will put that comma after his name. So now this whole section right here is not applicable to the new campaign. So I'm going to type something in here, kind of the same, on the same lines as the social media. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. On the same lines as the social media post that I made, so that it kind of ties everything together. A trip to Cancun. Okay, so you would probably want to put more, but for the sake of the webinar, we're going to make it brief. Now, one thing that I like to do, and I do the same thing with all of my blog posts, that's probably why it takes me so long to write a post. Cancun, I'm going to make this a hyperlink. I want to come back, I'm going to grab this URL that describes Cancun. Even though we have it in there, down at the bottom, I want to make this a link. So again, I copied it. It's the same way, except we don't have the green little plus sign here. We want to link that. So again, it brings up the same drop down. And I want to make my name, the agency name, a link as well. Since I already know that, I don't have to copy it. I can just type it. But if it was a different website, you can copy that as well. Spend 5 glorious days in Cancun, Mexico. And you can also make this Cancun a hyperlink if you want to. It's up to you. You would do the same thing. And find trip details here. So now that link is going to be the web page for that we created. Let me close out a few of these. Control panel. Okay, it's going to open it up again, but let's grab that. And I'm going to make that. Paste that link for the web page in there. Something like that. Okay, now let's save this. And the reason why I'm not changing any of the colors of the fonts, it's because that's set over here. Okay. Now, since I have in here, you can find complete trip details here. I really don't need this section, but I want to take this out. So I'm going to copy that. And then I'm going to delete this section. They're easy to do. All you do is click delete. Yes, I want to get rid of it. And now I want to edit this, put the signature. It's a little bit too much space. Save that. And now let's preview this. Whoops. Okay, so before we preview it, I want to mention that this information at the bottom is pulled from the control panel. When you set up your social media, it pulls everything from this. And Instagram is being integrated, so Instagram will be another social media tool at the bottom. Now we're looking through, it looks good, except I think that it kind of looks a little out of place. I think that this needs to be moved up a little bit. So now that we moved that up, you can take a look at it. And then next. Now, the next step, you would pick your list that you want to send it to. If you want to send it to everyone, if you have more than one list set up, let's go to the next. And now here's where we can preview the email. This is what it would look like sending it out. Okay, if you like how it looks, we can send from here. We can send a test email, which I'm going to do. I'm going to send it to myself just so I can see it when it comes through. Then I'll open my email. I'll give it a few seconds to go through the process. Okay, so that test email has been sent. Like I said, we'll give it a minute or two to go through the system, and then I'll open it up and show you what that looks like, how all the links work, and where they take you. Does anybody have any questions so far about how you can utilize, today we've not only utilized easily creating a new web page, but we've added some forms to that page, additional content that would describe the trip. Obviously, where I put just the information about Cancun on the page, you might, if this is a trip for a certain club, or if you're, maybe you're doing a fundraiser, you're splitting the commission. It could be your local daughter's gymnastics team, okay, and you're going to do a trip and donate half of your commission to the gymnastics club. So you would want to put a little bit of information about that as well in here, so you can definitely expand on what we've put here. I made it very short and concise so that we can get through all of the aspects of how the marketing cycle works, and how you can utilize all the tools that you have to make a complete campaign, from website page to social media to email marketing. And that's probably been enough time. So let me open my mail. And don't worry, all of Agent Studio's emails go to my spam folder. It's only me. Okay, let's see. I need to go to my junk folder. Let's go here. And there we go. Without fail, I would have been mad if it would have proved me wrong, because it never does. It always goes into my spam folder. But this is what the email would look like. Give it a second to load. Okay, now, so this is what everyone in your database would see. Cancun information. I think the 2 Cancuns right here is a bit much, so I would go back and want to change that. But if we click this, it takes them to the complete article about Cancun. I swear, that's why I get so many tabs open. We made this a hyperlink. This will take them directly to our website. This will take them again to the destination content information. Close out some of these. And complete trip information. It's going to take them to that website page that we created. It will load. And of course, this takes them to the booking page or the trip. And if that says let's book, it should be your booking form, trip inquiry. If it just gave them, you know, the option to inquire for more details, obviously you would gear the wording toward the actual form that you're going to use. Let's jump back into, whoops, this email. Does anybody have any questions so far? And then of course, this is what we've set up in our social media section of, and that took you right into the Google Plus page. So everything is linked. It all comes back to you, the agent, and your website, which is the key. That's what we want to do. We want to increase traffic. And even if I often send out posts, it could be for, you know, it's actually legitimate trips, but we aren't going on a trip. We aren't going on this Cancun trip, but if I want to try to stir up, you know, some clicks and get people, drive the traffic back to my website, you know, this is an enticing image. So always when you're sending out your email campaigns, make sure that they're enticing. Like, this is gorgeous. So it makes someone want to look, and they might think, I don't want to go in a group, but I would like to go to Cancun. Let me check it out. So it's getting them to your website. And when they're here, they can search around and they can see everything else that you have on your website. And then right at the top, if they don't want to go on that trip, right here's request a quote. This form is already built into your Agent Studio website. And it says Cancun at the top. It's kind of hard because of the way the colors are set up for my website, which this needs to be lightened up a little bit. But they can request additional information or say, hey, you know, I saw your email. I would love to go to Cancun, but those dates don't work, or I don't want to be a part of a group, or got me to thinking I want to go to Tahiti. Type of thing. So the idea behind all of the marketing is really to get the traffic back to your website. So even if people don't want to go to Cancun, they're still apt, if that image looks enticing, they're more apt to click on that than just an email without images. And I normally would add a few more to this. You could even add a collage to this email as opposed to just one image. Include maybe some activities. You could include an image of the hotel. You also could put more information here and put a link to, that's why I had this up. I have an AnyFlip site, which I think I might have closed it out. So I have all of the AM Resorts brochures. And if I want to share the brochure, it isn't going to be a brochure from on the AM Resorts website. It's going to link them here to one of these. Okay, so I can find the link to this. I can, the flash. Why didn't it open? It should open the brochure. Okay, there it is. So I don't have to worry about including this brochure and it leading them back to the Secrets website, because I should have picked a different one. At the end of this, okay, I can't go directly to the page, but at the back of this, I don't want to make you sit there through 60 pages of the page click or the page flip, but I have it branded with my agency information on the back. So what I do is I take the brochures, I house them in AnyFlip. It's very cheap, $10 or $15 a month. and that allows me to include brochures in emails. I can put links on my webpage, which I do. I have links if you go to I do's, preferred resorts. This is also going, doesn't necessarily have to be just for weddings, but this links out to the same thing. The main thing that you want to make sure when you're adding the detail is that the detail leads them back to something that you own, not anything with AM Resorts or secrets in general. You want to make sure that you've eliminated any possibility through the links that you're sharing, them being able to book somewhere else. That's my biggest, the best advice in regards to implementing other materials on the destination or the accommodations that you're including. Okay, and at the bottom of, when we get down here, this as well is an active link. Okay, it was uploaded into the itinerary, so they're going to be able to click that, and here is the brochure for Secrets Divine. And I can scroll to the bottom, and now you can see that I have my agency information. This used to have AM Resorts information here, their website, their email address to ask, and I changed the verbiage here, and this had their toll-free number. So you can make all these adjustments in Adobe and save it as a PDF. And as well as, this is the spa menu, which, yeah, sometimes they don't turn out that great. They can download this. So if I pulled this into Adobe, you can rotate this. Okay, and then it's upright. They don't, it would be nice if they all ended up the right way. Most of them do, but occasionally it depends on how the page is laid out. But there they have all the information that they're going to get from the Secrets website, but you're not sending them to the Secrets website. You could also, in here, if we added links down at the bottom, these links, anything that's in the Travefy itinerary that you use to create the web page, any links that are in there, they are all still active when you create the website page. Okay, so this took them right back. Now, normally I would have that to a specific, to that particular tour or excursion. I was probably playing around with that in another webinar and just removed it and replaced it with the general Cancun one. But so that is pretty much, that is, I know it's really quick, but to go through all of that in an hour, I have to move really quickly through all the different pieces. So I want to give you a few minutes to see if anybody has any questions about anything that I went over today. There are, if you do have questions, please type them here in the chat section. And every section that I went over, we do have webinars on. There's a webinar specifically for the Marketing Center, and there are a couple different webinars on the automated social media platform. I used to do webinars on Travefy. We've kind of gone from actually doing webinars just on Travefy to integrating the Travefy itineraries, but on the Agent Studio webpage, while I'm waiting to see if anyone has a question, which is where you'll be able to find the replay of the webinar today. It will be on the Agent Studio YouTube channel, and you'll receive an email tomorrow that will give you the link. And it's, once you click on videos, then this will be everything the webinars, and there's some mixtures of things, some little tips, marketing tips in here that they've added. But if you come back through early on, there will be some here. This Agent Studios Travefy integration webinar, this is strictly about Travefy. So if you want to learn more and dig deeper into learn how to use Travefy, you can watch this webinar. And then tomorrow's, once you come here tomorrow, today's webinar will be the first one up. And then you can go back. And I also always advise people to, if you see a couple other webinars on creating website pages, like here in the Marketing Center Basics, it's a great idea if you have the time to watch multiple webinars, because depending on the size of the audience, the questions asked, you could learn something in one webinar that might not be covered in another one just based on the questions that are asked. So if you do have time, that's a great thing to do. We have a question from India. Are all the features shown today included in the professional package? Yes, I do believe they are. They are included in the professional and the elite packages. Now, if you're on the free or the starter package and you wanted to try out, say, Travefy, or you wanted to try out the automated social media, you can add those on individually as opposed to upgrading your entire package, if that's something that you are interested in doing as well. And that can be done in your control panel. So if you are in your control panel, let me close out of a few of these. At some point, I will get back to my control panel. Okay, I might have closed it out. So let me just go back here. If you click in your control panel, you click on add-ons and you're on the starter. Now I'm on the elite, so pretty much everything is included in my package. The only thing that there is for me to do is if I wanted to opt out of any of the co-op marketing. But if you're on starter, like automated social media, this would be green, and the itinerary builder would also be green. And you could add those separately, or you could just upgrade your plan to the professional platform, which would actually probably be cheaper because it's $15 a month for either the itinerary builder or automated social media, which is $30, and the starter package is $20. So that's $50. So it would make more sense for you to just upgrade to the professional, which I believe is still only $44.95. So you would be saving money by just upgrading your entire package. You're welcome, India. Any other questions before we go about anything? If you do have questions after the webinar, you can reach out to support, or you can also reach out to myself, and my email address is included in the confirmations from when you registered for the webinar. So you can reach out to support or to myself and ask your questions, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. All right, if nobody else has any other questions, then since our time is up, I would like to thank everyone for joining. I hope that you found some useful tools that you can use and implement into your Agent Studio website to start making your website your own and marketing out over social media and through the email campaigns. So have a great day, and please make sure you check out the Agent Studio Academy that is in your control panel, and look at the rest of the webinars that are set up for the remainder of January. Hopefully, I will see you on another webinar. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks, everyone.